Hi, it's Ian from RosterBot, and I'm just going to try and quickly take you on a tour through our recently released mobile app. Now, one thing we found is most of our users actually tend to access the service via mobile even before we had an app. So that's required us to rethink how we structure our business and how we roll out new features. So, this is the first screen that I see as a RosterBot user, and it's probably my most important one. This lists teams that I play on. As you can tell, I play on way too many teams. And here's an aggregate schedule of all of the events upcoming for each of those teams. You can see that this easily shows me that I have a potential conflict or two games that are pretty close to one another on the November 15th. And then November 29th looks like it's going to be a really big problem for me. So it's great for letting me see out ahead and see where we're going. So West End All Stars is a team I play with. We play the same time, same place every Saturday. I've checked out for this game previously, but I'm just going to check in right now, show you how the switch works. And now you can see that both Chuck and I have checked in for this event. Not too many people checked in yet because nobody's been invited yet. Those invites probably go out tomorrow for this team. You can see that anyone who's actually checked out will be listed here, and all the people who haven't responded yet are here. And this is a great way to go look at players. You can see once we look at Al, we can see other teams that he's on. Turns out he's only on this one, but if you were to look at me, for instance, you'll see all the different teams that I'm on. So you can see we're starting to think about how to expand profiles to support my relationship with RosterBot as an individual across multiple teams and not just as a member of one team or another. My favorite feature is the calendar syncing tool. So by pressing this button at the top left here, I can easily add that event to my calendar. I'm a manager of this team, so RosterBot tells me up top here on the right that I need 10 players. And one thing that we found was important for kids teams is parents often find themselves shuttling their kids to different fields and arenas and recreation centers all over the place, and sometimes those are pretty hard to find. This makes it a little bit easier to figure out how to get there. At the very least, we've got a nice description down here for each event, and that's all very, very configurable via the management interface. You can see some of these teams have an M beside them, some don't. Those with an M have me as a manager of that team. So let's go look at Team RosterBot here. You can see all of that team's events now listed under our team section. I can also go look at the players. You can see each of the individual players that are a member of the team. Here, they're actually sorted by the positions they play on that team. So you can see we have one goalie, and he's yours truly. We've got a whole lot of forwards and a few defensemen here. The importance of positions is not to be understated within RosterBot. It's one of the things that makes us unique. So positions are entirely configurable. You can add any position you want as a completely abstract field. You set your minimums and maximums for that position. And then when you're adding players, you get to say which position they actually play as a primary and which as a backup. Second thing you get to say when you add a new player is whether they're full-time or spare. And that's really significant too because RosterBot has two different classes of player, both full-time and spare right now. And each behaves differently in terms of when they're invited to games, when they can RSVP to events, and what their permissions are within the system. You can attribute different fees to different classes of players. So, for example, you can allow full-time players to play for free and charge spares individually each time they show up to an event. Adding players, adding events is quite easy. This is work you shouldn't have to do, though. So the RosterBot web platform can actually scrape your calendar of events from a lot of different league sites out there and automatically input them into your team on an ongoing basis. So although this isn't that hard to do, we can save you some data entry there. Let's see here. These are real people, so let's not delete any of the players, shall we? But we can actually go in and look at the attributes for me as a player. You can see my only position is goalie. I have no backup position, and I'm set as a full-time player on the team. that is a pretty good quick tour of our service. There's a lot more to it, obviously. From this side, you can see we're working on some other stuff, such as Team Chat, which I won't show you, and adding our finances and team fees, payment stuff to our mobile app, which is pretty exciting. So looking forward to showing you more of that, but in the meantime, watch this space for details. Thank you for your time.